Three, two, one. Welcome, everyone, to episode 285 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
I'm well.
Corey.
Today's topic is going to be our 20... Oh, actually, I should say before we get started, Eric is not here because he's actually visiting here. He's not on the episode because he's back in New York visiting family, so that's why he's not actually on the episode. But I'm sure he told us his thing, but hopefully he's back next week.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember what days he's going to be here, but
I forgot that he even said he wasn't going to be on until this past week. So,
well, it's hard to remember anything anymore. You know.
Yeah.
If I don't write it down, it's out of my brain in 10 seconds.
Yeah, we need.
Anyway,
we need an operations manager.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. That's what we should. That's what we had our intern for.
Yeah.
Till he just kind of stopped showing up one day.
Yep, he's an asshole.
But anyway. It's going to be our 2017 games preview, and this is going to be part one. There will be a second part to this. A lot of games to cover. We didn't want to have a 4-hour games preview episode, so we'll split it into 2 episodes. That also ends up working out nicely because the end of next week is all the Nintendo Switch reveal stuff. So I can imagine the week after next week's episode will be our Nintendo Switch episode, and then I think it goes right into like Resident Evil and stuff like that. So the schedule kind of works out nicely. Does anyone have anything they want to tease for later on in the episode?
Star Wars Rogue One.
Oh, you saw Rogue One.
I did. I saw it actually 2 weeks ago at this point, but didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because of the thummies. But I'll do a spoiler-free chat about it if you guys are interested. And obviously, if you have any questions, I would love to answer them.
Yeah.
But that's it. I did not play any new video games. I haven't really played a video game. That's not true. I did play 2 new things, but for like 5 minutes. But yeah, I haven't really sat down to play anything lately. I don't know. Just giving my palate a cleansing break before we start up. There's no big releases this month until the end of the month, right?
End of the month, as far as I could tell.
Okay.
Will, did you play anything you want to talk about later?
Just a ton of Final Fantasy 15.
Attaboy.
I probably put in 27 more hours since I last talked about it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm nearing the end of it, so I'm anxiously waiting to get back to it.
Very cool. There's a free trial going on right now for Black Desert Online, so I played a little bit of that, which I will talk about during what I played. So that's all I have to tease. Well, let's get started. Corey, give us your first game.
In any particular order or no?
Any particular order, however you want to do it.
Okay, let's start at the back of the list that I did. I don't know if you mentioned this, Dan, but these games that we're going to talk about today are all games we sort of picked to talk about, so we have some sort of interest in them. In the past, I think we just kind of did it chronologically, started in January and went through the games, and obviously spent a little more time talking about the ones we cared about, but this year's a little more different. So my first game I was at least mildly interested in is Star Trek Bridge Crew, which is I guess, what would you call it? Spaceship bridge simulator, developed by Redstorm. And yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. It is a VR game. It's set in the bridge of the USS Aegis, which is part of if you're a Trekkie, part of the new Kelvin timeline, the new movies with Chris Pine, that timeline. And you are fully immersed in a VR environment, and you work as a team with 3 other people. One of you is a captain, one of you is the helmsman, one of you is the tactical officer, and one is the engineer. With the goal is just pretty much to explore. It's the old Prime Directive. Go where no man is blah, 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 however it goes. But I did read a report saying, and I don't know that this is true because it was just a report, that the campaign focuses on your crew finding a planet for Vulcan refugees to settle. After their planet was, spoiler, destroyed. So that's a possibility. It is the game, based on what I watched, we did see a trailer of it at E3 with LeVar Burton really hyping it up, and I thought he did a really good job of...
he seemed genuinely enthusiastic about it.
Yes, yes, and maybe also interested in gaming as a whole. I don't know, he didn't go into too many specifics about that, but the way he talked about this game, comparing it to games we've played in the past. It seems like he at least has a working knowledge of how games work and how this is something special in that regard. Granted, I'm sure he was paid a lot of money to say that, but like you said, it did seem genuine. So that was refreshing. In that trailer, we saw a Klingon attack. We saw, the team working together. They were all in the same room. I assume there will be online because you're in a virtual environment anyway, so you can see each other online and chat that way and stuff like that. And all the impressions I've read from people that have played it, pretty good. Very impressed. I read a couple that said that it's the game that is worth buying virtual reality for.
Oh.
Which is...
It's the one, huh?
Very promising. I don't know if I'd go that far based on what we've seen. I'm excited. Right. I would like to be able to play it at some point. I don't know if I will. But you know what it reminded me of is that type of game on a very small scale is Space Team, a game we all played on our phones. It seems very much like that. Like, people are yelling out commands, and you're manipulating things on your screen and going back and forth and trying to do it faster and faster and faster. I kind of got that vibe from this. Obviously, it's in a much more prettier, immersive environment, but that's kind of the feeling I got from watching.
Is there any information on platforms?
Platforms are PlayStation VR, Oculus Rift, and HTC Vive, and it's coming out in March.
Something like that would be perfect, because I can imagine it's not too graphically intensive. Something like that would be I don't know. I just remember from the trailer it not looking super graphically intensive.
Right.
That would be something that would be perfect for the Samsung Gear VR.
Yeah.
So it's a headset that's a lot more accessible for a lot of people. If you own a Galaxy phone, it's you can get a used or not a used one, the first version for like $60.
Right. Yeah, I actually did
break the bank expense.
In reading one of the previews, somebody mentioned how the bridge itself isn't particularly gorgeous, but there are other parts of the ship that you can go to that are meant to appeal to the eye.
Gotcha.
I guess I don't know, because all the gameplay is happening on the bridge. That's probably why it doesn't look as nice, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for Trekkies, this would be a dream come true.
Absolutely.
And that's Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Star Trek Bridge Crew. Possible release date?
March. I don't know specifically. I didn't see one.
Okay. Sounds good. Will, what do you got?
My first game is a little thing called For Honor. This game is going to be developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft. This game comes out February 14th of 2017. This is a hack and slash game set during an unspecified medieval period, and there's 3 playable factions. There's the Legion, which is like the Knights, the Chosen, which is like Samurai, and the Warborn, which are Vikings. And each faction has 4 classes that are split up. There's the Vanguard, which is like the balanced class, is good on offense and defense. There's the Assassins, which are the fast and great at dueling with enemies, but they're bad at dealing damage to like multiple targets. There are Heavies, which are good at taking damage and controlling points. And then there's the Hybrids, which are a combination of all 3 who do some small other stuff that they didn't really specify in the notes that I was going through. But basically, the player fights through the battles with their class-specific weapon. And as they kill more enemies and do well with the mechanics and stuff like that, their weapon unlocks feats, which makes it way more powerful and gives it like bonuses to like health and regenerating health and stuff like that. And there's like one-on-one dueling, which looks a little bit more technical than your usual hack and slash. You can kind of like direct where you want to slash the person and like how you want to dodge and stuff like that, which looks pretty cool. I'm pretty interested in this game. I've always been really big into hack and slash games, so and the time period looks really cool to me, and how they have like the ancient factions kind of going at it in the olden days. It looks really cool just to see like Vikings. Like, it looks really cool to me. But this game I could also see has potential to be pretty boring. I don't know if any of you have seen any gameplay from it.
I'm
Just
playing it in the
bit.
chat right now, and what we saw at E3. What makes you say that? Just the fact that it's a hack and slash game?
I kind of feel like, how with the E3 trailers they always make it seem way better than it really is, like Watch Dogs, for example.
Yeah.
I worry that that'll be the same thing, because when you watch the gameplay, it looks epic, and you hear your guys storming these bases and stuff like that, and you hear like the cheering from your team, and it looks really awesome. but like when these games actually do come out, you do kind of never know what you'll end up getting.
Right. Yeah.
So that's my worry, and especially with Ubisoft, they've had some issues with that sort of thing.
That is true.
Especially like Watch Dogs is the prime example of that. But yeah, no, it looks cool. I think regardless of how it turns out, I'll probably like it. So
Has there been a game like this to come out recently? Is Rise Son of Rome similar?
Might
I
be
never
similar.
played. Yeah, I never played Rise, but it does look fairly similar
Yeah.
I
I
can
guess
see
it.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
because it's more technical than like a Dynasty Warriors type game,
Mm-hmm.
where that's just mindlessly mashing the button. It looks like there's a little bit more to the mechanics than that.
Right. Button prompts and whatnot.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm excited for this game. Definitely has my interest peaked. But that's For Honor.
Okay. Release date?
February 14th.
Who was the developer again? Did you say?
Ubisoft Montreal.
Oh, okay. But obviously published by Ubisoft.
Correct.
Okay. Now I only have 2 games. Unfortunately, that was the only time I had to do my notes. So the other games I'll cover next week when I hopefully. You know what? I'll start these notes like tomorrow, so I can hopefully get them all done by next week.
Yeah. Right.
My first game is South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Butwhole. Apparently, they wanted to have something about time in a butthole, but actual butthole. But they apparently retailers were upset by having butthole on a package for something they were going to sell. So they went back to the think tank and came up with the name, which is reminiscent of Dark Souls too, which I like.
I think the name, they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, there's a lot of buttholing, like tongue butthole with BUTWHOLE or HOLE.
WHOLA.
Yeah. Developed by Ubisoft San Francisco and South Park Digital Studios, published by Ubisoft. Expected release day of Q1 2017. Not sure exactly when for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Takes place after the events of the Stick of Truth, when a falling out over Cartman's planned superhero film franchise causes the boys to split into 2 groups, causing a civil war. The player is still known as the new kid, but apparently in this one you can be of the female gender too, which I know some people took issue with that with the first one, that they couldn't play a female character when your character in that game is literally a blank slate. And I don't even think it ever even says anything, do they?
I don't remember them saying anything.
I remember you could like put all the parts on, like long hair and clothes like a girl, but you were still technically a boy, I guess. But
What does
combat
that even
in
mean
this,
anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. Combat seems to be a bit more strategic in this one too. There's like a grid based system, and you move your units or your superheroes around on the grid, and like ranged attacks, you have to be a certain amount of spaces difference, and it seems like there's a way to use objects in the environment too to your advantage during combat too, which is also pretty cool. But I don't know, it's probably the game I'm most looking forward to early this year, I would say, just because I love the first one so much.
Yeah.
When's this come out?
It's Q1.
Q1.
That's as specific as I could find.
Because I know they delayed it into Q1, but I figured by now they would have had a release date for it.
Yeah. Not the case.
Interesting. I hope it doesn't do Stick of Truth, like get delayed a bunch of times.
Yeah. I'm just hoping it's not as buggy as the Stick of Truth was when it first came out.
Was there a lot of bugs with that game?
It was fairly janky, yeah.
Oh, Obsidian.
Was it Obsidian that made it?
Yeah, they had their fair share with New Vegas.
It was Obsidian. You're right. But yeah, that's South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Corey, what do you got?
Butthole. Tacoma. I hesitate to call it a walking sim just because I don't know, but it is from the company that brought us Gone Home, and everything I have seen about it leads me to believe it is a walking sim. But
another one.
Yeah, another one. I'm not going to sell it short yet. We'll see when it comes out. But It was announced way back in December of 2014. We don't know too much about this game, so everything I talk about is kind of vague, but it was announced way back in December of 2014. Futuristic sci-fi game set in an abandoned space station, and your goal as the player is to piece together what happened aboard the ship. What happened to all the people, what went wrong, if something went wrong, who knows. And the way you do that is by interacting with the former crew, which still exist on the ship as augmented reality avatars. Which it turns out, the reason why the game took so long was the way your character interacted with those avatars apparently was not very interesting once they playtested the game last year. And that was the reason for the major delay after the feedback from the playtesters. So. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, we don't really know. There are some gameplay videos running around, but it is sort of a mystery walking sim, whatever you want to call it. Q1 for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Xbox One.
If you're going to make a walking simulator, at least make it in an interesting setting like this one, you know?
Yeah.
That's my feeling so far.
Well, interesting to you and me is different from interesting to other people. Some people would consider the Gone Home setting very interesting.
No. I didn't.
It was an alright game, guys. Come on. You're selling it short.
I never played it, so I really can't comment, but...
You also didn't spend $25 on it.
Walking around someone's house reading diary entries just doesn't sound all that interesting to me.
It's good. It's just not Game of the Year.
All right. I'll take your word for it. Will.
Tacoma? My thoughts on Tacoma?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I will probably avoid this, and probably even if it gets praised, I'll still avoid it because Gone Home got praised, and I spent the $25 on it and played an hour of it, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't even play the full game?
No,
that's not right, Will. You can't criticize it that harshly.
I saw the big reveal at the end and did not care one bit.
Well, if you haven't played the full game, I wouldn't expect you to care about the reveal.
Gone Home?
Yeah.
Corey, that game was an hour long.
Is that how long it was? I thought it was like 4 hours.
No.
Oh.
I would never play 4 hours of walking around reading cursive diary entries. That sounds like a miserable time.
I will literally check my Steam library right now and tell you how long. I gotta find the Gone. Okay, 100 minutes.
Okay,
so almost 2 hours.
The main story is 2 hours long.
Okay.
According to howlongtobeat.com. If you're a completionist, you can eke out an extra hour to get 3 hours from it.
Oh, wow.
That's if it takes you a little longer to walk between one place and the other.
Yeah, yes. You get lost and confused.
That, it depends on how often you hold down the sprint button.
Right. Anywho, that's enough about Gone Home. Will, what's your next game?
My next game is Halo Wars 2. This is being developed by 343 Industries and Creative Assembly, and it's going to be published by Microsoft. This is a Microsoft exclusive game, so it'll be on the Xbox, and it'll also be on the PC as a part of its Play Anywhere. So that's a pretty good deal. If you buy that game, you'll also have it on the computer. It comes out February 28, 2017. So, or 21st, I'm sorry, I scrolled down too far. So it's a sequel to the first Halo Wars, and it takes place 28 years after the events of the first game, and shortly after Halo 5. So the first game closes with the UNCS warship Spiritfire entering cryosleep and drifting out into space. But the Marines, the Spartans actually said that the Spiritfire was declared to be gone, so nobody bothered to look for it. But this game opens up with Captain Cutter and his crew waking up at Ark, which is a Forerunner building. And from there, they come into contact with the Banished, which is led by a brute named Atriox, who they end up going to war over each other for the land and stuff like that. And when they wake up, they kind of learn about all the events that have happened and transpired from the events of the first Halo Wars all the way up to Halo 5, the Covenant War and all that stuff. But where this game shines is going to be the multiplayer. There are going to be 6 multiplayer modes. 5 of them have been listed so far. There's Skirmish, Strongholds, Domination, Deathmatch, and Blitz. The only new one is Blitz, which is a new game mode where they kind of have the base built up and everything like that. And to deploy units, you have like cards from Hearthstone, so you can kind of keep everything going pretty rapidly without you yourself having to micromanage everything. For those who don't feel like building a base and everything like that, which is kind of the allure to these games. So it's kind of an interesting game mode. It'd be interesting to see how it works. But yeah, other than that, a lot of the game is pretty similar. The beta, they did the at E3. They announced that the beta was now available for everybody to try out, which was kind of a cool thing they did. So I played a lot of it then, and it's a lot of fun. It's going to be another solid game. I also like that they're doing another Halo Wars too, because as Eric said, that they've just been sticking to the shooter. It's kind of cool to see them kind of expand out into another genre with this IP.
Especially since the original Halo was originally supposed to be a strategy game.
Yep. And I mean, the last Halo Wars was 2009, so it has been a really long time for this game. So I'm really excited for it. This is probably the game I'm most excited about. Besides the new Zelda, but I'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay. The only other game I have covered for this week is called Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, developed and published by Ninja Theory. It's apparently a AAA indie title, is what they're calling it. It's set to release in 2017 for PC and PS4. Not a very interesting name.
No,
doesn't quite convey what they're going for this game. But what's interesting about Hellblade is that it's set in Celtic mythology, which is something that isn't in any other game that I'm aware of. You know, there's a lot of games set in, like Scandinavian mythology, and there's various mythologies are covered, Greek mythology, that sort of stuff. But I don't know of any other games in Celtic mythology, which is interesting for me. It's an action hack and slash game with some brutal combat, apparently. It's focused on the point of view of Senua as she goes on a journey through an underworld made up of her own psychotic manifestations. So you're kind of getting into the brain of someone with a mental illness, which I think is really interesting for a setting for a game. And as I said, set during Celtic mythology.
I dig it.
Got me hooked.
I like your description. I totally forgot about this game.
It's because of the name.
And I think, I was going to say, I think you're right. Maybe one of the most interesting games with the worst name out there.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah. There's not a lot video-wise. There's a few like cinematic trailers, and there's a supposed gameplay trailer, but there's really not been a lot of details on it other than what I just covered. So
the video
still a bit of a mystery.
The video I've got playing in the Twitch stream currently is titled Hellblade 6 Minutes of Gameplay.
Yeah, I watched that one.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's going to be a mystery title. I think that one could be, hit or
sleeper.
Miss. Sleeper, yeah, it could be a sleeper. Like I said, it's
flying
all
under that radar with the generic name.
It's you would think of it as like a Diablo clone, Hellblade, like a knockoff Diablo clone type of game. And Ninja Theory made some really interesting games too. They made the DMC, which I know you really like.
Yeah, that game was amazing. The reboot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So. Yep. And that's all I got, unfortunately. Corey, what do you got?
I got a game that actually has a really good name, and a game I didn't know was in planning and until I was setting up for this episode, and I'm very excited to talk about and see and play once it finally comes out. It's called Sunless Skies. Strategy role-playing game, I feel like would be the best way to describe it. Probably some roguelike elements in there by Fail Better Games, who did the Sunless Sea game, which is based on a board game, loosely based, I guess, from what I understand. Made by the same developers. And I have a hard time describing what these games are. So I actually went to the Fail Better website and just took their description because I think they can sell it a lot better than I can. And let me just read this because it makes me very excited. The Victorian Empire in space. The High Wilderness, a blistering, wonderful night among the thrones and domains of the stars. The Empress has abandoned London and led an exodus to the High Wilderness to carve out a new British Empire. With the Empire being increasingly authoritarian, Bohemians, revolutionaries, and outcasts like you are trying to make a life for themselves on its fringes. Fail Better Games is an independent studio. They're doing a Kickstarter for this game in February. So who knows if it'll even come out this year. They're in pre-development as of, I forget what day that blog post was published, but I think it was just a few months ago. The game will be out for Windows, Mac, and Linux. If you never played Sunless Seas, it's one of those games that I highly recommend to people who love strategy games. It has a very, very unique style. It's basically, how could I describe it? It's like if there was a whole underworld or a whole world of the dead that consisted of pirates. That would be the best way I would describe it. But you're doing the shipping thing that you do in a lot of strategy games these days, where you purchase something at a certain price and find a new market for it in a different area. But what makes the game so good is the writing and the storytelling within it. You create a captain and you try to keep your captain alive by doing various things and acquiring certain amounts of supplies to get you from A to B, including food and fuel for your ship. But all along, you're uncovering these really fascinating stories and treasure maps and all that fun stuff. Did you ever end up playing Sunless Sea, Dan?
No, I downloaded it forever ago. It's still on my computer, and I keep meaning to try it. Another interesting thing that the game does, at least from what I gather, is it's constantly downloading updates, which is new stories and stuff like that you were talking about, Corey. It's constantly updating all that stuff and adding more and taking stuff away, and so it keeps it fresh.
Yep, and there is an element of procedural generation or random, however you want to say it, within the game itself. So I really, really enjoyed Sunless Sea. A little difficult for my liking, so I hope they kind of address that stuff for Sunless Skies, but I mean the whole idea of that game existing in outer space is just mind-blowing to me, and I cannot wait to play it.
The premise is great.
Yes.
I love the premise for that.
If I could pick a studio to work at, I think it would be this studio, solely because I would love to work on this game.
Uh-huh.
And I don't pay for Kickstarters anymore, but I think I will contribute to this one.
Huh. Okay.
At least the cost of the game. So
sure.
But yeah, that's Sunless Skies.
How much covers the cost of the game?
We'll find out in February.
Oh, okay.
Probably 20. Wasn't Sunless Sea 20?
I think it was more than that, actually.
25?
I think 25 or 30.
I know I bought it on a sale at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So
worth it.
Okay.
Still worth it. Timeless game too, in my opinion.
All right, Will.
So my next game is going to be Horizon Zero Dawn. This is developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony. Guerrilla Games did the Killzone games, and this comes out February 28th of 2017. The plot revolves around Aloy, a hunter, and Archer who lives in the world overrun by robots. She lived her whole life being kind of sheltered in her tribe, and eventually she sets out to discover the dangers that kept her sheltered for so long. The character makes use of ranged melee weapons and stealth tactics to combat the mechanized creatures who remains can be looted for resources. The game features an open world environment for Aloy to explore, divided into tribes that hold side quests to accomplish, while the main story guides her throughout the whole world. This is a third-person action role-playing game. These machines, when we watched the E3 trailer and any gameplay after that, there are these giant robots roaming around in the world in this post-apocalyptic world, and everybody is hunters and gatherers that looked like from the olden days, when they were in I don't know, the BC times. It looked really cool to see that. I think this world is fairly interesting compared to some other worlds that I've seen. There is also going to be no loading screens in this game, which is something that's pretty cool. I think long loading screens especially, can kind of really take you out of the game if it takes too long to get you into the game. As I mentioned, there's crafting, and you can get all of these parts from the machines that you can kill. and there's going to be, your typical day-night cycle with differing weather effects and stuff like that. And also, like I said, there's going to be the 3 different tribes that have quest lines that are separate from the main quest line. And also, I have a fun fact: the lead writer of the Fallout New Vegas game, John Gonzalez, wrote this game's story.
Cool.
So I'm kind of interested because I really liked the New Vegas' story, so I'm interested to see how this one is.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty excited for this game. This is my Sony exclusive that I'm probably the most excited for this year.
Yeah, that's a game that I was looking into. Looks good.
Yeah. It's gonna be February is gonna be a busy month with For Honor, Halo Wars 2, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Sure.
It's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be an expensive month. But luckily, Eric and I share games, so it won't be that big of an issue.
And I borrow all Dan's games, so.
Yeah.
Yep. As long as they're on Steam, it works perfectly.
Yes.
You won't be able to borrow Mass Effect Andromeda from me.
Yes, I
because
will.
that's Origin.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
Oh.
Well, speaking of Mass Effect.
Well.
Yeah.
Next on your list, Corey.
Speaking of Mass Effect, also I don't know. There's something about Andromeda. Like it just sounds so nice. It just rolls off the tongue. Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah, that's the game.
Into it.
Yeah, me too. Sci-fi action RPG developed by BioWare. So the player controls Sarah or Scott Ryder, who is the commander. They're siblings. Who is the commander of the Tempest? Do you guys get the impression that whichever one you pick, the other one dies at the beginning of the game?
No, but thanks for ruining that for me.
That's just how I think is what's going to happen.
Could be.
And it's set 600 years. The events of the game takes place 600 years after the original trilogy. I love that I can say that, original trilogy. I don't know. If you can't tell, I'm very excited for Mass Effect.
I wasn't until recently.
I actually don't like that.
No?
No, that it takes place that far after.
Why?
Because that means the ending of Mass Effect 3 meant nothing.
Well, it kind of meant nothing anyway.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
Dan, they even tried to fix it and it meant nothing.
Well, I don't mean to me it meant nothing. I mean, like, well, that happened, and like, where do you go from that? Unless you start at.
Well,
I don't want to spoil.
I was hoping they would send out this ship before the events of the trilogy ended. Like they sent it off.
They did,
and it was happening.
Let me get there.
It just took that long.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, as I said, the events of the game take place 600 years after the original trilogy. And the goal of the Tempest and the ship you're on, and the goal of the game is to find new planets for humanity. Actually, it shouldn't be humanity. It should be all of existence because there are a lot of alien species involved to colonize. So the Milky Way species formed the Andromeda Initiative shortly before the events of Mass Effect 2, which is your question.
Yeah, that's fine then.
That's when the planning began.
Planning? When did this thing take off?
When did it actually launch?
Yeah.
That's a good question. But I assume right there around.
Yeah, probably not that long after.
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
So you do not pick a class in this game. You progress as you please and reassign your skill points wherever you want at any point. You don't need to, take a minute or use an item, one-time use item to reset all your skills. You just kind of change them as you go and experiment and figure out what works best. There are some other changes to the gameplay, but none of them I felt were interesting enough to really talk about. Game Informer described it as subtle changes, so I think they're the only publication to have had a hands-on with the game. So that was their opinion of it. And of course, there's the old standbys in your Mass Effect games, like your dialogue tree. Of course, no Paragon or Renegade system. We like Shades of Grey. Romance options in even multiplayer. There was some discussion of multiplayer, like the Mass Effect 3 stuff, cooperative online.
The Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was really good.
I agree. It was very good. Very good. And we just got a release date for that this week, March 21st in North America and the 23rd in Europe. And that's for all major platforms, PC, PS4, Xbox One.
I was surprised by the release date. It's a lot sooner than I thought.
Oh, I'm so excited. So excited. Just the idea of like the open world is the Andromeda Galaxy, and I know they're not going to obviously not. It's not No Man's Sky size galaxy, for the best, but just the idea of like the Andromeda Galaxy being the playground in Mass Effect Andromeda, just blows my mind.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't wait.
Will, what do you got next?
I got Breath of the Wild, the new Zelda, developed by Nintendo, published by Nintendo. It's coming out 2017 for Switch, and I mean, is the Wii U like done at this point?
Yeah, it's been done. It was done since the beginning of this year, I think.
So no Breath of the Wild on it, huh?
Oh, I don't know about that, but there's actually, they seem to think now that Zelda will be a launch title for the Switch. There was just reports today about that. So.
Okay. So that's Q1, right? Well, I guess we find out soon, don't we?
We'll find out next week, yeah. Week from today.
On my birthday.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
But this is the first ever open world Zelda game where you can literally do whatever you want whenever you want. And they said the game world is 12 times bigger than the Twilight Princess world. That really means nothing to me because I don't really remember how big Twilight Princess was. So the story starts out with Link awakens from a deep sleep and a mysterious voice guides him to the now ruined kingdom of Hyrule. He meets an old man and learns that the century prior, Calamity Ganon appeared to lay waste to Hyrule, unable to be defeated. It was sealed within the Hyrule Castle while the ruins were ravaged by nature over time. Although trapped, the Calamity Ganon has continued to grow in power, and Link must defeat it before it breaks free and destroys the world. So in this one, you can use any weapon you find and wear any different kind of armor or clothing you want, and it actually like you see the differences in the character when you wear different armor. So you're not just wearing the green tunic the whole time. You can kind of wear different stuff. And each thing has its different stats and sort of, better defense and so on and so forth. And all the weapons have different stats. And also in this one, Link finds a piece of technology called the Sheikah Slate, which allows him to upgrade his powers, like slow down time. He can make bombs and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of crafting. Cooking
yes.
is another thing. But
crafting.
I watched a lot of the Nintendo Treehouse from E3 on the Zelda Breath of the Wild, and they were exploring a snow area. Mm-hmm. They didn't have access to the stuff that they needed to make. Because you can't let your character get cold, so you have to put on like your winter outfit or whatever. But they didn't have that, so there was a food they could craft from stuff that they gathered to let them explore the snow a little bit, and it would slow down the time until Link froze and lost all of his health. I was like, oh man, I cannot wait to play that.
I would not expect they'd kill you off like that. That's pretty cool. This is probably, as I said earlier, this is probably my most anticipated game besides Halo Wars 2. I know we were talking about it in the chat with Corey, and he said that he's excited to play it, but he's not anticipating it, which blows my mind.
Well, it's because he won't be able to get a Switch right away, right?
I probably will. I still got to trade in my Wii U or try and sell it to somebody, and then I still have a $50 Amazon gift card, which I was kind of going to spend on a video card. I've been saving it since last year. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's not. I shouldn't say I'm not excited for it. I'm excited to see what the next Zelda has to offer, I guess would be the best way to phrase it. But just like watching the gameplay and stuff, it looks fun. It looks like more Zelda. But I'm just interested to see how that all comes together more than anything.
It looks like Zelda with fewer boundaries.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think out of any game, this has the most potential, really, to be amazing. If that makes sense. Because, I don't know. I look at Halo Wars 2, they're not doing anything different. What was the other game? For Honor. I don't see that game, blowing people away, really. Maybe Horizon Zero Dawn
has
potential.
Andromeda, Will?
I mean, Andromeda definitely is a game that could blow everybody away. Because we also haven't seen a ton of Andromeda. We've seen 2 small gameplay trailers. We've seen a lot of Breath of the Wild at this point.
Andromeda's my 2017 game of the year.
Already?
Okay, are we planning it already?
Just based on the trailer.
That reminds me, was everybody okay with Final Fantasy 15 winning our game of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if Eric was upset about it or not.
I think he said he just was glad it wasn't Stardew Valley.
Okay.
I'm fine with whatever wins. It was democratically voted on.
Yeah, and I actually didn't talk about it too much during the episode, but I sort of protested the group award when we first did it. I participated just out of
Yeah.
generosity, but yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't really care, to be honest with you guys, what the group winner is. I just want to know why people pick what they pick. I don't really care what
Yeah.
the result is.
No, the reasoning is more important than the pick itself.
Right.
Definitely.
Oh, I care. I want to be right every year.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to pick the winning game every year.
I've had a good track record.
You're doing all right.
I don't think my tracker record was very good this year for picking the right games. But anyway.
Yours was, Breath of the Wild. I don't know. I'm really, really, really excited to play this game, and I really hope it's a launch title for the Switch.
That's what I'm hearing now.
So do we find that out too with the Switch press conference?
Probably there's going to be the press conference on the 12th, and then on the 13th they're doing a Treehouse stream with Switch stuff. So that'll probably have more information in it than the actual the Switch reveal, I should say.
See, I don't want to get my hopes up and be like, we're going to get so much information, because you never really know with Nintendo.
It's Nintendo. They'll screw the pooch somehow.
Yeah, they'll talk about Super Mario Run again. Stupid game. Yeah, that's Breath of the Wild.
Corey, what do you got next?
I just have one more. I was going to do Persona 5, but isn't that already out in Japan?
Yes.
And like people that are excited about Persona know everything about Persona. I know very little about Persona, and I wouldn't. Another one, like I understand it's very good, and I understand that series is very good. I've just never played any of them, so I don't really have any point of comparison to talk about Persona 5. So I skipped it. But another game that's already out in Japan that I'm mildly interested is Tales of Berseria, a fantasy role-playing game by Bandai Namco. It's the 16th main entry in the Tales series.
It's crazy.
16th.
It's one I'm also interested in, Corey.
Yeah, another one. I played, what was the last one? Tales of Zestiria?
Zestiria, yeah.
And I liked it, but it was one of those games that just came out at a time where there were more interesting games to play. So I just kind of played maybe 4 or 5 hours of it and then moved on. I liked it, but maybe this Berseria will come out at a time, January 24th, where I can give it a little more love. Not too much to say other than it's reviewing very well out of Japan. People seem to like the characters and the story very much and some of the gameplay elements. So just another really good Tales game, I guess.
It comes out the same day as Resident Evil 7.
So yeah, the PS4 release date is 3 days earlier than the Windows release date. It's the 24th on PS4 and the 27th on Windows.
Okay. Gotcha. So it's three. I don't know if I'll be able to afford both of them.
Well, it's also very exciting to see the Japanese role-playing games having a timely release on PC. So.
Yep. Not coming out years later.
Right. In a crappy port form.
Right. Okay. Will?
Let's see. Ukulele. Now, this is a game that I heard a ton about, but never really paid attention to, I guess, because this was a Kickstarter game. It was funded in June of 2015, raising $2.1 million, which is the most funded UK-based game on Kickstarter ever. Now, do you guys remember what the most funded Kickstarter game was?
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen?
I don't know.
That's gotten the most crowdfunding. I don't know if it was specifically Kickstarter or not.
Gotcha.
I could Google it quick while you chat, Will.
Yeah. So this game is developed by Playtonic Games and published by Team 17. So these are two teams that did Banjo and Kazooie and the Donkey Kong Country games. And this is, you kind of get that vibe when you see the main character and some of the gameplay. So the gist of the game is it's an open world platformer, and it follows Yuka and Laylee, who are a one sec, let me find it. Okay, Yuka is a chameleon and then Laylee is a bat, and the two of them work together to work their way through the puzzles of the world, which is pretty reminiscent to Banjo and Kazooie. And each of them have their own like different abilities and stuff like that, and they solve puzzles through the vast game world, which I guess is pretty large, and perform challenges, unlock different bounties, and try to stop the corporate creep, capital B, from his devious scheme to absorb all of the world's books and convert them into pure profit. Is what the story is about. Yeah, like I said, follows gameplay elements of Banjo and Kazooie. So I've never played a Banjo-Kazooie. Have any of you?
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, on Nintendo 64 back in the day.
Okay. So this will be my first attempt at this type of game, because I don't really know how to work with the two different characters. Like, is it going to be, do you control both of them at once? Like, I don't know.
Don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
But I know I've seen this game on all sorts of the gaming outlets. Like, everybody's really, really excited for it. So I hope it delivers. I don't like seeing these failed Kickstarter games and people being upset, because I've been a part of a couple of them and I've been angry with him.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's Ukulele.
Okay. Corey, you don't have anything else, right?
No, but to answer Will's question, I'm not seeing Kickstarter only, but the most crowdsourced game funding wise was Star Citizen with 140 million and rising. Which is a ton of money. There was only one more crowdfunded project that has raised more money, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is, but it raised 160 million, and it's called the DAO. Which, according to Wikipedia, the DAO was a digital, decentralized, autonomous organization and a form of investor-directed venture capital fund. It sounds like a shadow business or something, something weird that I probably don't want to investigate.
Sure.
Or you'll turn up missing.
Yeah, something like that. But Star Citizen was number 2, a frickin' video game with 140 million.
Wow.
And then number 5 was Prison Architect with 19 million.
Wow, I didn't know that game got that much money.
Me neither. That's a lot.
I have that game on my wish list. Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
Any other games, Will?
Yeah, I got kind of 2 more. The other one for me is Days Gone. Now, I tried to do some research for this game. There's not a whole lot. It's developed by SIE Bend Studio and published by Sony. It's an open-world zombie survival game that takes place in a rural environment. The player controls Deacon St. John, who is a drifter and former bounty hunter. The game takes place 2 years after the global pandemic that turned millions into what these zombies are called freakers, which are quick evolving zombies. And there's 2 types of freakers shown off so far, which was in the E3 trailer from Sony, the Newts and the Hordes. And then the open world, they throw all of the buzzwords out there, multiple ways to complete an objective, open world, stealth, dynamic day and night cycle, vehicles, crafting. What makes a day and night cycle dynamic?
Well, the cycle itself doesn't, but saying that implies that different things will happen within the game during the day as opposed to at night.
So saying dynamic day and night cycle will affect the freakers, that's what's dynamic about it?
Yeah. It implies more than what it could actually be. I mean, like, I don't know, like, the original EverQuest had a day-night cycle, but I don't think it really affected too much gameplay-wise. Maybe the spawning of certain creatures, but beyond that, I don't know.
Okay. Not to poke fun at Days Gone, but they had all of the buzzwords in the,
sure.
in the article.
Somebody did their research, their marketing research.
But we have seen, I don't think anything about this game.
Not since E3 that I'm aware of.
I haven't even heard about it.
That was the one where people thought it might have been a new
Last of Us,
right?
Yeah. Was it the same E3 as Final Fantasy VII Remake?
No.
No?
That was two E3s ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Days Gone was this past one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was lumping it in with the Final Fantasy VII one. But that's Shenmue. That was that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it a little bit more pass that we haven't seen anything from it. My other game was Scalebound, and I feel like we've covered it for like 2.5 years at this point. So
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like doing anything on it.
I don't blame you. I don't think much has changed since we previewed it last year.
To be honest, I don't really think there's been much about it.
I think I did the preview for it in the fall games. I think it was supposed to come out in the fall, right?
Yep. And then it got delayed.
Yeah.
So and it didn't even have a release date for this year. So
Who knows?
yeah, who knows?
Someday.
I don't know. I'm not even interested in the game in the slightest anymore. But
Anything else? Anything else, Will?
no, that's it for me.
All right. What do you got for Nibble Bits?
Can we actually take a quick break, Dan?
Yeah, we could take a quick break.
Just quick.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll take a quick break and be right back in just a moment.
Sorry, I gotta put my ribs in the oven. I forgot to do it.
Okay.
I
What's
told
the score of
Sophie
the
they'd
game?
be done when she got home. 2-0. 5 minutes left in the first. I'll be right back.
Who's winning?
You're Canada.
Canada.
Oh, ew.
Dan, quick question for
Yes.
you. Like I said, I'm gonna let you borrow my PlayStation 4 for when to play Final Fantasy 15. Do you mind? Because I know you said you've been really busy with everything. Do you mind if I just give it to you when I go back to school?
No, that's fine.
Okay, that'll be around the late January. So
I'm probably gonna do 4 in February this year, so I might not even get to it then.
okay,
But we'll see. I'll let you know.
it's fine if you have it to play anything with 4 in February, because I'm going to be really busy this semester again. Because I'm gonna try and give cheese more days of availability than I gave produce.
Sure.
So I'm gonna be working more. I'm gonna be taking 16 credits, but it'll all be science and math again, and I'll be busy.
More work involved.
Yeah, I'm gonna hate myself this next year and a half.
No video games for you. Well, not many anyway.
I'm kind of happy
choosy.
nothing's coming out until February.
Yeah. I'm undecided on Resident Evil.
I feel like every year that there's a new Resident Evil, and I've never been interested.
This one supposedly is a return to survival horror roots. So
Instead of the bizarre route they went before.
yeah, instead of the action type of game they were going for the last few.
People hated 7 so much.
6.
Was it 6? It was 6. That's right.
Oh. This chair is horribly uncomfortable.
I think if I get a lot of money for my tax return, obviously I'm going to get a Switch, but I think I'm going to get a new computer, desk, and chair. Because I found on Amazon a desk was $100 that I could get. Because this desk is just not big enough, and this chair is terrible.
Yeah. Having a nice computer chair is nice. And the ones that like they make the fancy gaming computer chairs now for a lot less than when I bought mine. So you can get like a really nice one for like $120.
Yep, that's like exactly what I found.
Yeah.
Was 100, 120. I also need computer speakers too.
You don't just use a headset?
I don't like how I get a headache when I have these on for extended periods of time.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I mean, because I game at night, like I can't have the sound come out of speakers, you know.
Yeah.
I have to have a headset on at all times.
I also just buy things for the sake of it, and it's a really bad habit. One of my New Year's resolutions is to be better with money.
Sure.
Well, I don't like to call it a New Year's resolution because I sound like I'm a chump.
Yeah. Just something that you'd like to get better at this year.
Yeah.
Now's a good time to get better at that.
I couldn't sleep the first night, the day before I started Cheese, because I was kind of like nervous and whatnot, because like I was going into a new department and everything like that. And I laid in bed. I literally slept from 9:30 to 11 and was up the rest of the night, and I worked at 7, so like I was just up. But I laid in bed, and like the 4 hours I laid in bed, I ordered stuff for my computer, canceled it. Ordered a Fitbit, canceled it. Bought a GameCube controller for Smash Brothers, kept it. Rebought a keyboard. Ended up spending the $30 or whatever for the 2 things, but like I had ordered like $300 worth of stuff.
Wow.
And just canceled it.
It's like someone who comes home drunk and just buys stuff off of Amazon, except you were blind, stinking sober.
Yeah, and I was just laying there like, I need to look at stuff.
Yeah, I check my Amazon wish list like when I'm in bed.
Yeah, it's
always
bad.
tempted to order things, but I don't have any money, so I really can't order things. So
I always say I'm at my weakest at night.
Yeah.
So that's why
that's when you make your impulse buys.
Exactly. That's literally the only time I buy anything.
Uh-huh.
Cause like the Fitbit was like $130, and I was like, oh, I do want one. So I ordered it, and then off eBay, and I was like, oh, I gotta cancel it. I shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then I settled for the GameCube controller.
Sorry.
Sure.
It's okay,
That's
Corey.
Right.
Oh. Well, do we want to watch these last 40 seconds?
Sure.
I don't care. We can start. I don't think anything's gonna happen.
You don't know that.
Did you guys watch that video of the equipment manager getting put in for the last 7 seconds of the game?
Yeah, for the Carolina Hurricanes.
That was awesome.
Hey, are those Battletoads guys gone?
I think so. I don't know why that happens.
They obviously were all friends, right?
Who knows? Who knows why things happen on Twitch the way they do?
Yeah. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 285 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. We are now at Nibblebits, right? So, Will, we'll get started with you. What do you got for Nibblebits?
So my first one is a mobile research firm estimated that less than 5% of the user base paid for Super Mario Run. That's a pretty low number. I figured way more people would end up buying it.
Well, Will, I have the actual figures because you stole my tweet.
Did I?
Yeah. 3%.
I went back like 6 days, too. I'm sorry.
3% of people who downloaded Super Mario Run actually purchased the full game. So for context, as of the writing of this article, 90 million downloads for Super Mario Run, and only 3 million paid, which, as it turns out, is actually pretty good, I guess, from what I understand. 2% is considered a success.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. So,
for someone to spend money on a free game? Is that the metric?
Right.
Okay.
For that model, I guess, as some commenters pointed out. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but a lot of times people who know what they're talking about tend to post those kind of things. So who knows? But you kind of got to point out, though, that this is also a Mario game. You know, it's not just any old random free-to-play game that people are just downloading just to see what it's all about. It's Mario. Right. It's a major, quite possibly the largest intellectual property in all of gaming. And to only have a 3% sell through, I don't think is great. And I don't know how much better it's going to get on Android. I don't know if there's more or less suckers on Android. But I think the biggest issue, and it might plague Super Mario Run once it comes to Android, is just how mediocre the game is. There's really nothing to write home about.
No, it's bad.
I'm not going to call it bad. But
no, the money that you have to put in to get the full game when there's not much there is bad. Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, I'm okay paying $10 for a Mario game on iOS, but I'm not okay with paying $10 for a game that's not worth $10. Period. Mario or not.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I thought I heard $5 leading up to the release.
Well, who knows?
Which even then, that's too much. But I probably would have paid it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but
I
feel bad. Go ahead,
I
Corey.
think it's the only game I bought last year.
Really?
I
You
think
bought no
so.
other game?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I did the Humble Monthly for like the last 3 months of the year.
That doesn't count.
Oh, you get your games tomorrow, right?
I do, yeah. I do.
Nice.
Always
Corey,
exciting day.
Yeah.
How do you justify not buying any game ever?
I
Like,
can't
that
afford
blows
to.
my mind. Well, yeah, true.
It's not even like, well, like my money can go elsewhere. I literally cannot afford to buy a superfluous game. Especially if I can play it on Dan's account on Steam or borrow a console. I don't know.
Yeah. I totally understand.
That's what happens when you're on a fixed budget and you got a girlfriend.
Huh?
Why can't we go to dinner? You just bought a video game.
Yeah, but the video game will last forever. We'll forget about this dinner in a month.
Yeah.
Anyway, my next nibble bit. It's a fairly random one, but Ariana Grande is going to be in a Final Fantasy title. She's going to be a character in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. And she tweeted a picture of... This is so bizarre because I never thought in a million years that Ariana Grande would ever be in Final Fantasy. But she, like, seeing the hashtags, like, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius... and a post from her. She's going to be like one of those characters that you get in like I don't know, it's like a DLC pack.
Yeah.
Did you play Brave Exvius, Corey?
Yeah, but I didn't like it, so I deleted it.
Okay, so does that work? Like you get characters through like a chest or something?
I'm not even too sure. I don't remember.
Oil is proud to help
It's been a while.
women's hockey.
Well, if you're interested in Ariana Grande, she's going to be dressed up as a cat sort of looking thing. So
Uh-huh.
Cool.
have at it, people from Final Fantasy. Some people are outraged. Some people are really happy.
Let's see if I can
I'm
find a
outraged.
video of it on YouTube.
People said she's not even a fan.
Who
Stuff
cares?
like that.
Ah,
I feel like she has to be kind of a fan if she...
I care. I care, Dan.
Why? It's a mobile game. It's a mobile game.
No, I know. That's a good point, and I don't care about the game, so I guess I really don't care. But the whole
mad?
idea of ham-fisting somebody popular into something that they have no relationship with just bothers me.
That's mobile for you, though.
I know. I know. It's disgusting.
Despite my newfound love for, or my recently found love for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I still have a generally negative view of mobile gaming.
You just think they could find some celebrity who maybe played a little bit of Final Fantasy at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, are we saying Miss Grande has never played Final Fantasy?
That's a brave assumption. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. That would be awesome. I would love to be wrong about this. But I think part of the promotion for something like this, I think a promotion that would pair really well is a backstory with celebrity X and their experience with Final Fantasy.
Well, maybe there is that. We just haven't found it.
Sort of like Imagine Dragons did in their Game Awards last year.
So
that was well done. That was a well done integration.
So, because there was no backstory about why she did this, I'm going to assume you're right, but it is also Square Enix, and some of the decisions they make aren't always the smartest.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'm trying to sign into my Final Fantasy 14 account, and I have a one-time password, and they won't let me recover it, and I can't get into my account. So, that's frustrating.
Yeah, that's no fun.
They do stuff like that. It makes it frustrating. So who knows? I'm going to assume, though, Corey, you're right. Then she has no Final Fantasy tie.
It's a bold assumption.
But the only reason I made that a nibble bit is because it was bizarre to me when I read the article.
It's very bizarre.
But that's it for me for nibble bits.
Which celebrity do you think played a lot of Final Fantasy?
It's a good question. Definitely not Conan O'Brien.
He hated 15, right?
Yeah.
He's like, why did you make this to the developer or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Turns out it's a delightful game.
Game of the year, in fact.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at some celebrities and pick one out. Who would like Final Fantasy the most?
Sure.
That's it for me on Nibblewitz, though, Dan.
What do you got, Corey?
Just one more. NVIDIA announced its own cloud game streaming service, sort of a successor to its Shield online or Shield streaming service, also called GeForce Now. Just like PlayStation Now on Live, the ability to stream PC games via either. You have your choice, and depending on which one you pick, you pay more or less. You can stream games that you own already through Steam, Origin, Good Old Games. I think they named all the major platforms. Via a GTX 1060 system or a GTX 1080 system. But the price is $25 for 20 hours of gameplay on the GeX 1060 or $25 for 10 hours of gameplay on the GTX 1080. And keep in mind, these are games that you already own.
That's insulting.
Yes. I think it's a bit much. When you break it down and think about it, though, it's okay. $2.50 an hour to play a game you own, streamed from a GTX 1060, which doesn't seem like a ton of money, but it's streamed, so a lot of your quality is going to depend on your internet, and you're losing quality no matter what because it's streamed.
Yeah. No, those prices are insulting and embarrassing. I hope no one does that until they lower the prices a little bit. That's just ridiculous.
I think the only person it's good for are the publishing platforms, because all of a sudden people who don't have gaming PCs can pick up, that have laptops that are business people that travel, can pick up games on PC now that they wouldn't have been able to play otherwise.
Yeah, but
easily stream them.
Didn't you say you had to have it in your Steam library to play it?
Right, yeah, but like say you love Overwatch, and you play it, you're a 45-year-old businessman, travels a lot, only plays when he's home, doesn't own a gaming PC because that's for nerds. All of a sudden he can play Overwatch on the go on his work laptop. Why wouldn't he purchase it again so he could do that? The problem is going to be getting those people to acknowledge the service, which I think is an issue.
Yeah.
But there is incentive there for Steam to talk about it, for Origin to talk about it. There's a reason for them to do it.
Huh?
So I don't know what to say. Honestly, I think they'd be better off just putting together a library of games and doing the on-live model. You can pay monthly and play these games to your heart's content.
Yeah, that's what $25 for 10 hours of gameplay
on the 1080.
That's ridiculous.
Wow, yeah.
Which is $2.50 an hour.
They started putting, I don't know if I have this in my Nibble Bits or not, but they started putting full-on GTX graphics cards in laptops now. They're no longer using the mobile-specific ones. So, like, you can get a GTX 1060 or 1060 laptop for, like, $1,200 or $1,300. So you're better off just getting one of those.
Think about the number of,
owning your own games and playing them on your own system.
Yeah, I agree. I like to think through who would use this, and I think there is a use for the businessman. Maybe for somebody who loves games and just has a shitty little laptop, and can't afford something to play PC-specific games on. Can't afford a big gaming rig to play Civ 6. That's not a very good example, but or your Final Fantasy 14, MMORPG of some kind.
Still though, like, what was it, $25 for 20 hours on the 1060?
Which was $1.25 an hour.
I don't know.
I mean,
see people looking at those prices and scoffing.
You think, okay, so what's Final Fantasy 15? I beat in 44 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
So multiply that by $1.25, you're about $60.
Yeah, but you don't have to. I would assume you prepay for the time, right? Like if so you would buy, uh, what if you're doing it on the 1060? So it would be $75 for 60 hours.
That makes sense. So, but on
75
top of that, you're
bucks.
also buying the game, so you're paying essentially twice the amount to play the game.
Yeah.
But you're saving on the back end because you don't have to buy the PC to do it.
Yeah, but very quickly that would evaporate, saving on the back end. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm with you overall. I don't think it's a very good value. It would be nice if they could do it on mobile.
Oh, that would make a difference. I think
Push it
if you
to
could play it on
mobile,
your phone.
iOS, Switch.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you get Skyrim on the Switch, is through GeForce Now.
I'm still hoping for your thing, Corey. It's the ability to stream your PC games onto your Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that's the big secret.
That would be magical, I think. Okay. Any other nibble bits, Corey?
No.
All right, I got a couple, and bear with me here. I'll try to go as fast as I can. I didn't get a chance to write them down. So as some of you may know, CES is this week, and with CES always comes crazy electronics. Acer announced a 21-inch curved screen laptop. It starts at $9,000. It's a 120 hertz refresh rate, two GTX 1080s running an SLI, a quad-core i7 processor, 64 gigabytes of RAM, and up to 4 512 gigabyte solid-state drives. That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm just glad something like this exists. I'll never buy one, but I'm just happy that they're making things like that. I think that's great.
I'd love to review one if they want to send one to me.
Well, that's funny because Mike Fahey does all the PC specific review stuff for Kotaku, and he's always like, I hate having to send this stuff back. It's I think he reviewed one of the 35-inch curved ultra wide monitors from Acer, and he's like, I hate having to send it back. It's so amazing. It's funny.
I had to set up.
I would feel the same way.
I had to set up a curved screen LCD TV in a room the other day. Those things are nice. Those
They
brand
are
new
nice.
curved screen.
You really have to
4K.
see it in person.
Yeah.
You have to see it in person to appreciate the curved screen,
Mm-hmm.
television, and monitors for your computer. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So there's that. Razer also announced a crazy laptop. It's a 3-screen laptop. They called it Project Valerie. It's only that's what caught my eye actually. Project Valerie. Because my wife's name is Valerie. So yeah, it's a laptop that the monitors kind of like fold out on the sides. It's got 17.3-inch 4K monitors. So 3 of those.
Jeez.
Yeah, they said they wanted to market it to not necessarily gamers, but on-the-go professionals like you talked about, Corey.
Designers.
Just design people,
Yeah.
who need the extra screen space for design and or multitasking for whatever they happen to be doing.
Be good for streaming too.
But design specific, yeah, definitely. Like I said, that's just a prototype concept thing, but interesting nonetheless. And then my last nibble bit is Mass Effect 2 is free on PC, so you literally have no reason to not get it. Just download Origin and get it, even if you don't have a computer that can play it right now. Just get Origin and get Mass Effect 2 for free. Apparently, it doesn't come with the DLC, but
no. But I did. Thanks to your tip, I got it today.
yeah, no reason not to. And that's my nibble bits. How was your week, Corey?
Pretty good. I did see Rogue One. It was the day after Christmas. We had a really bad ice storm, and we were going with my girlfriend's family, and her brother was really hungover, and the movie started at 10 or 11, 10:50 or something like that. 10:50, I think, was the showtime. And I was like, great. What time are you going to get here? And he's like, I'll get there at 10:40. And I told my girlfriend, I'm like, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
because there's a really bad ice storm, and it was ice. Her car was a sheet of ice. It was one of those, like rain that instantly
Yeah.
froze to everything it hit. And there was that, and the fact that I was worried that I wouldn't get a seat. So sure enough, we get there. We walk in right as the movie begins. Perfect timing. Look around. There are 4 of us that go in. There are only 4 seats scattered throughout the theater. 2 of them in the very front row in the corners.
It's why you never go late to a movie. You always get there early.
And
Always.
And my girlfriend's like, don't worry about it. It's the day after Christmas. It's early in the morning. Nobody's going to be there. Everybody was saying that. And I'm like, you guys, you're wrong. You're wrong.
It's different.
Please, can we get there earlier? And nobody was with me. So I was very happy to say I told you so when we walked in. But I ended up having to sit in the front corner. My neck was killing me by the end of the movie. And when it first started, I'm like, I don't know why I'm bothering. I'll just go out and ask for a refund. They'll do that. They'll give you rain. What do they call it? Rain
check.
Rain check. Yeah. So I didn't end up doing that. I ended up sitting through it, and it was still a very enjoyable film with a lot of cool cameos, a lot of nods, a lot of Easter eggs. Somebody, Den of Geek, did a really, really good, exhaustive job of listing all the Easter eggs from the Star Wars universe within Rogue One. I think there's like 70 something of them, like obscure references to other Star Wars things. So that was really good, and that turned me on to the Star Wars Blaster Cannon podcast, that article, which I've been listening to, which is just Star Wars lore, which is really good. But the movie as a whole, I really enjoyed it. I don't think there's a single... It's not really a spoiler to say this, because a lot of people knew it going in, but there's no Jedi. Which is weird for a Star Wars movie. But a lot of action, likable characters. I wouldn't say the writing was very well done. Characters didn't have very good story arcs, in my opinion. But I liked the way it ended. I know some people had issue with it. I don't know what else to say. Do you guys... Will, you don't care about Star Wars, so...
Would I like this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think you'd have to be an idiot not to like it. My girlfriend's mom went to see it with us, and she enjoyed it, so... She said she liked it more than The Force Awakens, which I think I would agree with.
I was told that this is a really awesome movie, so I'm kind of interested to see it.
Yeah, I thought it was very well done.
It seems like kind of like a merry band of misfits.
Pretty much. Well, some people took issue with that because now it kind of showed the rebellion as not this force of good, virtuous, I guess, not as virtuous. That they had to do some slimy things to win the war.
That's kind of how guerrilla warfare starts. That's what they did. That's what they did.
Yeah. But it's all about how the rebels acquired the plans to the Death Star.
Did many Bothan spies lose their lives?
I don't think there were any Bothans in the film.
Damn it!
But it's really cool because, having read the books and stuff, it ties some of the books. It ties a lot of that stuff together, which I like.
Yeah.
And it really bridges the gap between episodes 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't a major spoiler, but one of the Easter eggs, and this is the attention to detail that I think the film really excels at. So Luke in A New Hope was Red 5, was his tag, call sign.
God, I don't remember. It's been so long.
I think it was Red 5, but in one of the battles in Rogue One, Red 5, the pilot, dies, which opens the door for Luke to have that call sign in the next film.
Oh.
Which you wouldn't really know. Yeah.
I was going to say, you would never notice that if you were just watching the movie.
Yeah, I didn't notice until it was pointed out to me. So just little stuff like that makes it really cool.
Nice.
So I do really recommend it. Really good Star Wars film. And I'm excited for more of the, I think they're calling them anthology, one-off films.
Yeah. The next one's the Han Solo one, right?
Yeah, and then I think we're getting a Boba Fett one in 2019 or 18.
Dang.
What would be the next? It would be 2018. No, 19, 20? I don't know. I think that was the next one, though. So, yeah, good.
Positive thing coming from the Disney Star Wars marriage.
Yeah, and actually it turned me on to the Blaster Cannon podcast, and now I started rewatching or trying to watch again the Star Wars Rebels cartoon which is very, very good. I watched the first 3 episodes of that a couple nights ago. I don't know. I love it. I'm immersed.
Huh?
And I'm trying to keep up with it, but it's literally impossible. The amount of Star Wars content that comes out every month is insane.
Sure.
It's like at least one full novel, several
Comics.
comic book entries, a young adult novel, you know.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with it. But that was that. The only other interesting thing for me this week was going to the dentist, which it's been 20 years the last time my teeth were checked out.
Wow.
So, and it was one of those things where you just wait too long, and then it's like, well, now I don't want to go because I'm just going to have anxiety about all the things wrong with my mouth.
Yeah.
That's me right now.
Yeah, but my girlfriend sort of spearheaded the whole thing, which was nice because if she didn't, I probably never would have gone back. I would have waited till my teeth rotted out of my head. But
Sure.
I went, and everyone was really nice. I have good dental insurance, so the cost wasn't really an issue. The hygienist was very impressed with the state of my teeth, considering I hadn't been in 20 years. She said I did a really good job of keeping them clean, which I do. I floss every day and I brush twice. So, but I knew I had cavities. I could see them, and that's why I went. And one side actually started to hurt. Turns out I have 4 cavities, and each of them are on different quadrants of my mouth. So when I went in thinking I was going to get all of them filled, I went in yesterday thinking I was going to get all of them filled. It turns out they can only do 1 quadrant at a time. So I have 3 more dentist visits to get the other 3 filled. The one she did yesterday, and my dentist's name is Honey. The one Honey did, the one Honey did yesterday, thought it was my worst one just based on the X-rays that they did. And when she did it, she's like, "Okay, this is deeper than I thought. This is deeper than I thought. Okay, this is really deep. It's really close to the nerve. I'm gonna fill it, and you let me know how it feels. And if it's still painful in like 3 weeks, then you're probably gonna have to get a root canal on it." But once the Novocaine wore off last night, I had no pain, and I have no pain today. So I'm assuming everything is fine with that one. And she said the other 3 didn't look as bad, so those should be no problem. But I got the bill yesterday, and it was like $600. I mean, I only had to pay $18 out of pocket. Insurance covered the rest. But I was in there like half an hour. It was a $600 bill. I'm like, where is this money going? Like, how wealthy are you? That's insane.
Yeah.
And part of me wonders if they're just, and I know this happens, but I have no idea how to expose it or anything. Like, are they just overcharging so much because they know the insurance company is going to pay it?
Yeah, it's possible. Sure.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Ugh, I don't like it.
In my opinion,
I
at
don't
least.
like it. I'm gonna have to check with our mutual dentist friend,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah.
See what he thinks.
He was the one that never ate lollipops because it was sugar touching your teeth directly.
I don't know. I'm not.
That was before he was a dentist.
I don't know. I think, especially after this experience, like knowing that if I just brush my teeth twice a day and floss, I'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
4 cavities after 20 years of no dentist. Hey, that's not bad.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Corey?
Nah, not off the top of my head.
All right. What do you have, Will?
I started a new job this week.
Yay!
I switched departments at the grocery store I work at. So I went from produce to old world cheese. Let me tell you, I love the job so far. It's such a total change of pace because I work at Wegmans, and like their whole company started because of produce, and like it's like the big thing, and like it's the biggest department, and just like it's crazy. It's crazy busy all the time, and it can get pretty frustrating. So going to the cheese shop, I like it, but like I've been yawning at work because I've been bored.
Nice
It's
feeling.
weird. It's weird. Like their load for 2 days combined was 18 pieces of cheese we got.
Did you carry them all in one armload?
Basically. They're
Some
like,
of those wheels are pretty big, though.
I have moved 40-pound boxes of cheese.
Yeah.
Today was like 140. So to put this in perspective, my first day was 14 pieces of cheese. Was the load. Produce got an 1,800 piece load.
Oh my gosh.
And it's funny because, like, I mean, I do work with a lot of older ladies, and they tell me, they're like, "Oh, wait till you do the load. Like, it sucks. It's tough." I'm just, it's funny. Like,
That's adorable.
Yeah.
and I know they mean well. They're like, yeah, like it's the hardest part of the job, and like I get it. But like I do the produce load. Where on holidays we're pushing 3,000 pieces and just miserable and cranky. This is just so different. I'm working with a manager who I got along great with in produce, who wanted me to come over. So like that's great. I've enjoyed everybody that I've worked with a lot too. It's like I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's new that I just like it so much more, but like being over there is just so much better. I love it.
Sure.
Are you inspired to be a cheese connoisseur?
No, I have tried a ton of cheese.
Really?
Yeah.
You have to know the product. That's one of their big selling points. Is their associates that work in their departments have to know the products that are in it.
Yeah, so the manager, Ben, he wants everybody to eat everything and try it. So as Dan said, to know what everything tastes like. And so literally, like, I've just been eating cheese left and right. Whenever we get new cheese in, everybody tries it, all that sort of thing. I have discovered that I don't like cheese that is truffly. If it's mushrooms at all, I refuse to eat it. It's so gross. But I have tried some really good cheese though, to the point of I'm not huge into cheese. Like I do like, really bad American cheese, like American
cheese.
like
Like cheese products.
crappy cheddar.
Craft slices.
Yeah, like that's great to me. But like trying some real cheeses I was surprised that I liked as much as I like. Like I was liking blue cheese, I was liking brie, all that sort of stuff. So it's a lot.
You'll come to appreciate all that stuff when you get older.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all we snack on when we have company now is cheese.
Cheese.
Different types of cheeses. Well, we discovered the cheese section in Aldi as a major selection. So
Nice.
Mm-hmm. But no, like I'm loving it. Just trying all these different cheeses, and like the work is just so. Like my shifts have been 7 to 12:30. And my next week shifts are 7 to 12:30. I have one shift that's 7 to 3:30. It's tomorrow, and then next Friday I have a 7 to 3:30. So, because I guess that's the biggest load that we get for the week. So, like, they want us there longer.
what's your shift look like? Like, what's your day-to-day tasks?
So I come in at 7. That's when the first people from cheese get in there, which is an hour later than when produce started. So
Okay.
like I used to work 6 a.m.s in produce. So now I'm at 7s pretty much exclusively. So I walk in, I lay the mats down at the workstations because that's the only thing that I easily remembered how to do. And then I go print off the bill, which has like what we're getting in for the day. Pretty much which, like I said, the first day was 14, the second day was 4 pieces, and today it was like 140 or whatever. So from there, I go do load, or then like depending on how long it takes, I then go to like cut cheeses and fill cases.
Wow. So how much of your time is spent interacting with cheese shoppers?
Because I'm new, I'm not doing that a whole lot.
Gotcha.
I get asked like what Ben wants to do with the cheese department is to have everybody be more interactive with customers and whatnot. He wants people to kind of try to sell more to people instead of just kind of like hanging out, which is what I do, and wait for somebody to talk to me. So that's something I'm gonna have to work on. Like I told him I wouldn't do it yet because I want to learn more before I go actively help. But yeah, he wants everybody to be actively talking to customers more. So even if they're just walking up to a case, looking at it, just be like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you need any help today?" Sort of thing. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of that probably soon when I start to figure out what I'm doing, because I honestly have no idea what I'm
That's cool though. I'm jealous of your youth and your the position you're put in. Like I would love to just focus on learning cheese, you know?
It's really cool, and like today, like they were asking me if I could like move some things, and like there was the thing we use to cut cheese is like this wire thing, and like we put the block of cheese and then we pull it through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a wire snapped, and they had to grab the thing you hold on to and like loosen it, but they couldn't loosen it, so they asked me to do it.
Muscles.
They're like, "Oh, it's so good to have some youth and muscle in here." And I was like, "Oh, no, don't worry. Like, you loosened it for me," is like what I said.
Please tighten our wire.
Yeah, and like they're like, "Hey, can you please take care of my cart of boxes to put it in the compactor?" And it's like 2 things, and I'm just like, "Oh man."
I got you.
It's like I'm glad to do it because like it's so different.
Yeah.
I like obviously like I don't tell them that like this is easy.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't like that, but oh man, it's great.
What's my last question? Cheese question. What's a
Yeah.
wheel of? What's the value of a wheel of cheese? Like a big wheel.
So today we got like 3 red wax Gouda wheels, which is like 50
Ooh.
pounds of cheese.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
I don't know what that would. That's easily well into the hundreds, probably.
Okay.
I don't know what that would be, 100%. But we did try a cheese today where one block was $130. I want to say a pound, and like I mind you not, like this is probably the size of my phone right here, like.
Yeah.
Like that was the size of the cheese, and like basically each section we cut off was $15 to try.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was very creamy and milky.
Ooh, like Havarti.
I dealt with some Havarti today.
I love Havarti on sandwiches. Havarti's a good sandwich cheese. Grilled cheese. Havarti is really good.
And I was pretty worried going over because I was like, I don't really care about cheese at all. Like, I honestly like produce more than cheese, but like learning about cheese is actually really interesting. And I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, like everything else, it's more in depth the more you learn about it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty intimidating because like the cases of stuff, like we have a lot of cases of stuff. Like, oh, I shouldn't say a lot because it's really not that much, but like there's a lot of different types of cheeses in there, and I'm just like, I don't know what any of this is, but whatever. And they say like if I want to open up whatever to eat it, I can do that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm coming to visit you at work.
Oh, please do. It's great. And like it's so funny because like my friends in produce, like it's funny just seeing the despondent looks they're giving me as I'm over there. They said I'm radiating joy. Like you have a glow that you haven't had in months is what they've been saying.
Yeah.
Because whenever I see him, I just smile and laugh because it's so funny.
Nice.
Because everybody in produce looks so sad.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that.
I can relate to that at my place of work. I wish I could switch departments, but the only place to go where I'm at is down. Not that I'm at a high place, but there's no upward mobility. It's just down.
You should move back to Johnson City and apply to Old World Cheese because we're still hiring and I have an in with the manager. So,
someday. Once I hit rock bottom. When I hit rock bottom, that's when I'll come out.
Wegmans Cheese Department.
Yep.
But like I said, I really like everybody that I've worked with so far. I'm a part of the under 50 club. There's 4 members total.
In cheese?
Yeah.
Cool.
One of them being our manager, which is pretty funny because nobody ever includes the manager in anything.
Nope,
So,
they don't count.
No, not usually. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And like I worked Tuesday through Saturday today, but then I have Sunday and Monday off, which is nice because we don't get loads. I think Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So like I don't think I'll be working those days because they want me to do. I'm basically replacing the other male who did load because he went to produce and we just swapped positions. So I honestly think I'll be working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and maybe some Saturdays. Like this Saturday I work and then next Saturday I don't. But like I said, Fridays are the only days that I stay until 3:30. So
Nice.
yeah, no, I love it. It's great. I'm really pleased with that move.
Okay.
But other than that, it's just video games, and I'll talk about Final Fantasy 15 when we get into what we played.
Sounds good. Christmas. We didn't get to talk about Christmas yet.
I honestly forgot about Christmas completely.
Yeah, we didn't cover Christmas, because last week was the Thummies. So
yeah, that's right.
Christmas in my house was chaos this year. It was our first Christmas with 4 children instead of just 1 or 2. And for the older 2 kids, we bought little loft beds. They're like 4 feet off the ground, because we wanted to increase the amount of floor space in their room. So all the toys go underneath, and the beds sit up, like I said, about 4 feet. So me and my wife wanted to have them built and have the kids come out on Christmas morning and have their new beds be built. But we were most of the way through building them and looking around, and the 2 beds were taking up our entire living room. There was literally no room to get around, to sit anywhere. Like the beds were huge. So it was like, that was maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, why don't you go to bed? I'll disassemble one of them. I'll put out all the presents and organize everything. So I did that, and it took me until 10 after 6 in the morning.
Oh my god!
When I finally got everything done and set up. Luckily, my kids are like me and my wife, and will sleep in when they get the chance. So I don't think they woke up until almost 9 o'clock, which was good because I got a couple hours of sleep at least. But yeah, Christmas was absolute chaos. In addition to having 5 days in a row where we had something going on, which was insane for us because we don't sleep and stuff. So
I don't know how you guys do it.
At this point, it's like just nervous, random energy and caffeine for me.
Like
my wife can't really drink that much caffeine.
Like Dan, I saw you. I don't remember what day it was, but you looked just so tired, and I felt so bad.
Yeah. It's all part of it. Once the kids get a little bit older, it'll be easier, hopefully. Like I said, luckily our kids are like us and like to stay up late and sleep in late. So that's a good thing. Our kids, when on a weekend they don't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, luckily. So the older 2, the twins are actually really good about sleeping through the night anymore. So that's also a good thing. As far as Christmas presents, my wife got me a lot of really awesome T-shirts. She got me one that says Daddy Saurus on it, and it's a big dinosaur and a little dinosaur, which was perfect. She got me this Zelda shirt too, which I don't know if you can see it in the camera.
Ooh, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then she got me Futurama Back to the Future blend shirt. It's Marty McFly instead of Marty McFly. It's Philip J. Fry as Marty McFly, and it's really, really cool.
Sounds like she knows you.
Nice. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does. But I also got a lot of Amazon credit, so I was able to order myself for Christmas a 10 keyless keyboard that I've been wanting forever. 10 keyless mechanical keyboard, I should say. My wife actually was going to get me one for Christmas, but she asked me which one I wanted first. Checking with me instead of just ordering a random mechanical keyboard. But the 2 or 3 that I had sent her were either sold out or like double the price because of scalping around Christmas. So she didn't end up getting that. But I got the Logitech G410 Atlas Spectrum keyboard.
Nice.
Yeah, it's I actually just got it today. I haven't had that much time to play games on it, but it's like I said, it's a pretty compact keyboard, mechanical keys, which feel amazing compared to my old. I had the Microsoft Sidewinder X4 keyboard before, which is like a gaming keyboard, but it's a cheap membrane gaming keyboard. And it was okay, but once you start playing a game with the actual mechanical keys, it's like magic. It's a completely different and much more satisfying feeling. But in addition to that, all the keys you can choose. It's got the RGB lighting for all the keys, so it's got 16.8 million different colors, and you can assign a color to each individual key. So you can set it up however you want in the Logitech software, which is also really cool. But like I said, I haven't really had time to play with it that much. But there's also really cool effects you can set it to do. But I just kind of put it on special colors for now. But yeah, I had a little difficulty setting it up. I also got a wireless adapter for my Xbox One controller, which was a nightmare to set up.
Really?
You're supposed to just be able to plug it in and it should work. It's a Microsoft product. It's supposed to be compatible with Windows 10. It took me probably 2 hours to get it set up and running.
Wow.
It was miserable. What did I have to do? I had to go into a special site and download a special driver for it. But if the first few times I did it, it didn't work. I had to re-download it, and I had to delete all the previous drivers, and then go in and install that one, and then plug it in, and then I had to move it around to different USB ports. It was miserable. Windows 10 dropped the ball on that, definitely. And also setting up my new keyboard when I got it today took longer than it should have. I should have just had to freaking plug it in, and it should work, and it didn't. So I'm a little critical of Windows 10 right now. That really pissed me off. I shouldn't have had to spend any time doing that.
No, my 360 wireless adapter
plugged right in and started.
Plug and play. Yep.
Yeah, and that's what they said it was. And actually, I wasn't the only one that had this trouble. There was a big post on Reddit about it, which luckily I dug up. They were the ones that linked to all the proper drivers, but still, that's more than it should have taken to set up a Microsoft product and a Microsoft operating system.
Yeah.
Freaking A, get your shit together. But yeah, I'll report more on the keyboard itself when I have more time to play with it. I only played about 3 minutes of Black Desert Online with it, and then I played a match of Overwatch with it. So good. So good. So there's that. I gave myself a haircut.
Big haircut.
I noticed you had a haircut.
Yep, I did it myself. Me and the wife had been planning on her cutting my hair for the past 3 or 4 weeks, and we just don't have enough time to set aside where she's cutting my hair and I'm sitting in a chair because of the 4 kids. So I knew that was going to happen. So what was it, 2 days ago when the twins went down for a nap? I was like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm cutting my own hair. If I screw it up, I can just buzz it real short. It'll grow back in no time.
Mm-hmm.
I did the buzzer on the back and sides up to a certain point. And then on the top, I just, I ran my fingers through it, got strips and just clipped them off. Looks decent. It's not the best haircut I've ever had, but it's also not the worst. So
looks pretty good from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Too.
Not too bad. I had to clean up the back of my neck because I tried the whole mirror thing. It just I kept twisting the clippers the wrong way, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I had to do that slowly, and there's still a little trimming on the back that my wife needs to do, but who knows when we'll get the chance to do that. And then the only other thing I have to talk about is you guys have told me about the echinacea, what's the other one? Olive leaf extract.
Yeah.
I've been taking that for about a week and a half now, and so far so good on staving off illness.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I need to take it for 2 weeks, right?
Yep.
Twice a day. Is your echinacea also golden seal?
Yes.
Okay.
Will gave it to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm
Very
very
nice.
appreciative of that. So far so good. Right about now, last year is when I got sick, and I was sick for a whole month. So I'm hoping to avoid that. I'm willing to try anything to avoid that happening again because that was freaking miserable. So far so good on that.
Should improve your allergies too.
Yeah, I haven't had as much post-nasal drip like I have all winter, every winter. So it's not been as bad this year.
Yeah.
So
Well, hopefully it works for you.
yeah, I hope so too. Because God damn it, I do not want to be sick for another month. But that's all I had going on. Corey, did you want to talk about Christmas?
Not really. There's actually we did get a question of the week that addresses Christmas, so maybe I'll revisit it then.
Okay, sounds good. So should we get into what we played?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right. I guess I'll start. Why not, right?
Go for it.
So I tried Black Desert Online. It's the, if you haven't heard of it, it's the one that was widely touted as having the best character creator, where you can create really super specific characters and all in stunning detail. So that's probably where you might have heard of it if you haven't heard of it otherwise. So they're doing a free trial, free 7-day trial. Once you sign up, you have a week to play it. So I figured I would give it a shot because, why not? But I ended up really enjoying it. I spent probably about an hour making my character. And once I got into the world, the combat system is really well done, I think. So you move around with WASD, like you do on a normal keyboard. Your attacks are your left and right mouse buttons. But based on the direction you're moving and the combination of the button presses is your attack. So like if you're going back and do the left mouse button, that's one attack. If you're going back and doing the right mouse button, that's another attack. There's combos that you can build off of there, but also then you have your special abilities, which are mapped to the 1 through, I think, 6 buttons. So the combat is really feels interactive and next gen more so than any other excuse me, MMORPG I played. It even feels slightly more active than like Guild Wars 2, which is a combat system that I really liked. The graphics are really nice. I think I have it set on medium graphics on my ultra wide monitor, and it looks amazing. It was good enough to want me or to keep me playing a little bit. I've tried a few other free trials for MMORPGs where I played for like an hour with a character and then just never went back to it. But this one I actually would like to play more if I can. It's that good and that interesting to me so far. Corey, I think you would like it.
Yeah, I wanna try it ever since every now and again I go to that MMORPG.com or whatever that website is to track the top trending MMORPGs, and they do the ones that are in development, and that was the top one for a while.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's just, where do you find time to play an MMORPG?
That's just it, and that's why I won't continue to play it past the 7-day trial, which is unfortunate because I think it's one I would really like. I would definitely get my money's worth out of it. Even with a subscription fee, I think I would get my money's worth out of this one. But I think it has a subscription, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I think it does.
Isn't it the one our E3 correspondent John plays?
Does he play it regularly? I don't know.
I
would be surprised because
sure.
fantasy RPGs are not really his MO.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay. I feel like he's been playing an MMORPG though.
He probably plays one nobody else plays, like
Final Fantasy. Oh wait, no, that one's popular.
like
Wild Star.
Not Wild Star. No, I don't know. I shouldn't throw any games under the bus here, but I don't know. I always, as long as I've known him, I never knew him to be a fantasy RPG kind of guy.
Okay.
But you never know.
I'll have to ask his brother-in-law.
There you go.
I remember if he plays Black Desert. So I played that. I also played Overwatch for a few hours on New Year's Day. Actually, my daughter woke me up at like 4:00 in the morning. I don't even remember the reason now. But yeah, she woke me up, and then the twins got up to eat, so I fed them. And then I couldn't go back to sleep because I had been awake for about an hour. So I was like, screw it. I'll go play something. And I didn't really know how much time I had, so I didn't want to play anything that sucked me in, like a Civ or I'm playing Soma right now, which I didn't want to get sucked into, only to have like 10 minutes playing it and then have to quit. So I was like, you know what? I'll play some Overwatch. I talked a lot about it. I gave it some awards during the Thummies. I've been wanting to play it, so I figured I would give it a go. And I had a really good time, a surprising good time, and didn't play as poorly as I thought I would after not having played it for over 6 months, I think. I I think it took a match or two for me to get back into the rhythm of it, but Farah and Diva were kind of my main characters that I did well with, that I continued to kind of do well with. But, I wasn't great. Obviously, I wasn't the best player. But I also wasn't the worst.
You're probably playing against a bunch of 6-year-olds. Blizzard's good at
Maybe.
that, easing you back into the game. I feel like that with every time I play Hearthstone is they let me win a few, before they remind me just how bad I am.
There was a lot of drunk people playing too, which also helped because it was so early in the morning on New Year's Day. But one of the things I tried that I ended up really, really liking was one of their arcade modes, and it was 1 versus 1, which it's a 1 versus 1. You both play as the same character. It's in a pretty small map. But yeah, that was so fun. I even had one guy who once we started the match, he was like glorious combat, in the in the chat. I was like, dude, we ended up for the last one, we ended up just having a slap fight. It was just a melee fight. I think it was with Zenyatta maybe. We just did a slap fight for the final one. I think I've only won 3 rounds in all the times I've played it. Probably 3 out of maybe 40
really
rounds that I played. Yeah, I haven't done that well, but
dang,
it's so fun. It's so fun. I won one with Roadhog, that one was actually a legitimate good win. I hooked the guy before he hooked me, shot him in the face, and then skipped around and kind of shot him again from the side.
Didn't I read that Roadhog's getting a nerf on his hook shot, Will?
Roadhog's hook is getting a nerf, yes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't read the specifics on it because I don't barely remember, all that stuff from when I played before.
Right.
I won one with Junkrat, which was just a golden BB. We were firing the grenades at each other, and I just happened to have a lucky shot. And then I won one today as... I don't remember, but I won one match today, too. Maybe Tracer? So,
Tracer
but I
is
usually
the best.
I usually get my butt kicked, but it's still fun. So I played Overwatch. Go ahead, Will.
Dan, I do want to say, I don't know what it is about Blizzard games, but for whatever reason, they seem to bring out the community that'll have a slap fight.
Yeah. That guy was a character. He was a character. Definitely.
It's times like that, I don't know, sometimes it breaks the competitiveness of it and just makes it so funny.
Yeah, because he wiped the floor with me. I think it's best of 9 maybe. You have to win 5 matches, and he kicked my butt every one, but it was still fun. Just his commentary on things, it was fun.
Yeah.
Made it fun for me. I haven't had I've only probably played 3 or 4 hours since I started playing again, but haven't had anyone be a jerk or a D-bag or anything, so.
They've done a lot to filter that out at this point.
Yeah.
I know if you insult somebody, it replaces the insult with a compliment.
Oh, nice.
At one point.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so.
So I played that. I revisited Soma, which is really good. I want to finish that off. I want to find out how all the events go down, and then I want to talk to Corey about it.
How far along are you?
I'm at the part where I'm almost headed down to the launch of a certain thing.
Okay, so you're getting there.
I'm close. Would
not to spoil
of the
anything,
way through?
but yeah, that whole trip is kind of long, so I'm not sure where you are in that trip, but yeah, you're getting there.
I haven't started descending yet.
Okay. Yep, you're getting there.
But yeah, I'm just so into that game. I just really like the way the sci-fi is going, and I don't want to talk about it because really talking about it at all is kind of a spoiler. You
kind of got that Firewatch thing going on too with the interactions with the artificial intelligence.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yep, definitely. I've meant to bring that up the past few weeks, Corey. I'm glad you remembered. So
it's what a great way. Not that it's easy to do because you have to have good voice acting, you have to have good writing to do it successfully, but it's a really good way to carry somebody through a game.
Yeah, because Soma is mostly walking and puzzle solving. There's a little bit of bad guy dodging, those are actually my least favorite parts.
Yeah, mine too.
That game
could have done without them.
yeah, I don't think that was necessary. They probably could have done that a little bit better. But
Well, that's the thing. I like the threat of that because I think it gets your heart racing and it gives you a actual game to play. Something that you can fail at. So there is a fear there.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm with you that some of it I could have done without.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that game. So I'm excited though. I think I'm gonna go upstairs and play Doom. I'm gonna test out my new keyboard.
Yeah.
Really give it a go in Doom. So, all right, Will, what do you got?
I want to talk about some Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
Corey, you want to talk about some Final Fantasy 15?
Corey's occupado.
Oh, dang it, Corey. So
Sorry, I'm here.
You're here?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was talking to Corey a little bit about this today. Holy crap, this game does so much. I can't even find words for it. The boss fights in this game are some of the most fun boss fights that I've ever done in a video game.
They're cool. And it's weird too. I'm sorry to jump on your train of thought here, but it's weird too because it's one of those things that when it's happening you're like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Like the game just takes you and runs with you. And you're like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I feel like I'm in control and I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job and this is awesome,
Like the one fight we talked about was the Leviathan boss fight.
Yeah, that's the one.
Like you don't need games do not need to make boss fights difficult to do them well because that boss fight was not hard at all.
Mm-mm.
They wanted you to beat that, but the way that they did it was so powerful and fun and made it so awesome that like I was just whacking away at Leviathan with all of these weapons and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but this is incredible. And like I know your gripes were with the story, Corey, but I have loved the story of the game so far. I'm on chapter 13, I should say. I'll get to that in a second. But like the stakes of what was going on, like at that point in the story, I was like, all right, let's go mess up Leviathan's day because Leviathan was being kind of a dick.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I agree, the stakes were really high. I just think the story as a complete tale, I think is very lackluster, but that's just me.
Well, they supposedly patched in some of the stuff that was missing.
Yeah.
With I don't know what, but they supposedly fixed some of that stuff.
I mean, when I beat it, Corey, like I'll talk to you about some of the story, but like I'm really, really liking it so far. Like I'm loving everything about this game. I'm so happy I picked it my game of the year. I was worried that I picked it game of the year too early and I'd kind of fall out of favor with it later in the game.
Right.
My only complaint so far recent is in chapter 13 with Noctis. I think they dragged that out a little too far. You know what I'm talking about?
Is that the one where you are going through the complex
alone?
Yeah,
nothing.
That's the one a lot of people had a big issue with. I think the only reason I don't think it's bad on its own, but I don't think it fits into the pace of the rest of the game, and I think that's why it feels so out of place.
I don't mind the complete pace change because of what's going on and like why you're in the situation you're in.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's going on a little too long.
And there's a stealth component to it, which is always annoying.
Especially out of place stealth.
Well, yeah, this game does not do stealth well.
I was gonna say if you haven't done that in the rest of the game, like
there is one other part where you do stealth, but that part's more fun.
Yeah. So the thing I just did, Corey, was I got the sword from Ravis.
Okay.
I don't know how close do you think I'm one sit down from beating it tonight?
Yeah.
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 Okay. So
if you're done with 13, yeah, you're there. Did you get on the train yet?
The train, like where you get with.
Remember when you asked me if there's a snow biome and I said yes?
Yeah.
Have you done that? Yeah, that part's cool.
Yeah.
That being on that train is awesome.
Yeah, and like when you're on the train, when you go back on the train after you do some fighting, and Gladiolus is just like, Noctis, you need to get in here, and then like everybody's gone, and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, good stuff.
So good. I will say that one of my friends who played it and beat it, who is not big into Final Fantasy, only really played 13 is the only one that he played. He said that he felt like shedding a tear at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So, and there is a lot of really, like with Ignis, Corey, and Lunafreya after the Leviathan stuff that happened. Like I was upset about that.
Yep.
Like that stuff was crazy.
That's like that's what those characters are so good, but each of them only has like one what's the word? Like one moment. I don't want to give too much away here. I think they could have done a lot more with those characters because I think they're so well done, and I think it was a missed opportunity. Granted, what they did do, I really, really enjoyed. I thought it was awesome, and it was they didn't beat you over the head with it, which I thought was a welcome change from all the past Final Fantasy games. Those character moments. But I think there could have been more. There could have been more development of those characters leading into their moment with Noctis.
So yeah, like definitely with I don't think that applies to Ignis, Prompto, and Gladiolus because you traveled with them the whole game and you learn a lot about them. Because like what happened to Ignis, like I am still bummed out about. Like I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So like that, but like with Lunafreya, like you know a little bit about her, but you don't have too much. You don't know too much about her.
Right.
You know. And then like like all the stuff that happened with the Leviathan stuff, and like you don't know a ton about Ravis, but like. When what's her face after you do chapter 12 and you get on the train with Biggs and Wedge, and she tells you about why Ravis had the sword and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, so like that was his moment, and then like you knew nothing about him. You know a lot about Arden, kinda, because he's been there the whole game.
Right. Did you watch the movie? I forget the name now. Escapes me.
So
Kingsglaive.
Kingsglaive.
So I'm gonna beat the game tonight and probably watch it tomorrow night.
Okay. Just curious.
I was gonna tell you to set up the Plex server. Now is like Noctis and everybody in that one?
Yeah. No. I don't think so. If they are, it's just references. It's focused on the King's Guard, the people who defend the king.
Okay, so that ties into what happened in Crown City at the beginning of the game.
That's what it's about. Yeah.
I want to know more about that. So you see a lot of Arden and King Regis or whatever his name is.
Yes.
Noctis is dead. Okay.
Yep.
But boy, like honestly, this game could honestly crack my top 10 all-time games because I really love this game. Yeah,
it's real good.
Yeah,
good.
It's one of the best Final Fantasies that they've put out in a really, really long time. It's gonna be weird having 4 games in my top 10 that are gonna be Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
that's a lot. But yeah, that's it for me. Like I really haven't played too much else.
Okay, what do you got, Corey?
Just briefly, I wanted to play them enough that I installed them and played about 5 minutes of them. Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns, the Final Fantasy 13 game I didn't play, and I played half an hour of it or so, and really enjoyed it. And that game, I guess, a lot of people really enjoy. Lightning Returns. It got much better, much more respect than was critically. It was given critically. It got much more fan respect. Apparently did a lot of things right. So maybe I'll play some more of that. I don't know. And also Knights of the Old Republic 2, which I did play like an hour of years ago, but just recently reinstalled it and started playing that a little bit with some mods, some graphical mods there. So, but not enough to talk about there either. So that's it.
Okay. Sounds good. Feedback?
We did have one piece of feedback from none other than Idaho Jake. Hey guys, I hope all your holidays went well. I was going to do my thummy picks, but I didn't really play anything, and the only games I've been playing is Skyrim and Fallout 4. I will be getting Horizon, and I think I will wait to see about getting a Switch. I guess it all depends on what Nintendo announces tomorrow. Now, for the Idaho Jake question of the week, what is the coolest gift you got this year, and was your favorite board game to play with family? My favorite gift was my first Blackhawk shirt my wife got me, and my favorite board game is Pit. Thanks, guys, and carry on. I'll just go briefly here. My favorite gift I got this year was skis that my girlfriend got me, skis and ski boots. I haven't done any of skiing since high school, thinking back on it, and it was nice to get a gift that I can actually do something meaningful
With.
with in my life. Which skiing is something I've always enjoyed. So, and we actually did go this past weekend and had a real good time. And now it's a little bit more fun. And I probably shouldn't say this out loud because we can go to the lodge and have a couple beers in between runs, which just is so much fun. And actually, we went in time to watch some of the Winter Classic on the TV, and I had a couple Utica clubs and had a burger, and then we went back out and did a couple more runs. So, nice. It's a welcome addition to my life, I should say, is to have the ability to go skiing without having to spend $80 every time I go.
Yeah.
I actually want to pick up snowboarding, Corey. So it's funny that you got skis for Christmas.
Yeah. Hey, anytime you want to go, let me know. We'll Sophie's a beginner skiboarder or snowboarder too, so.
Okay. I because I love snow, like you guys know that, and I never do anything with it. I want to like actually start doing something with it. Yeah. So I'm gonna pick up snowboarding, I think, at some point.
What was the coolest gift you got, Will?
So for Christmas, it's easily my McDavid jersey.
Nice.
But it's funny. My one friend, Johnny, for my birthday, he forgot my birthday last year, so I gave him a hard time about it all year because that's how I am. He actually ended up getting me an Austin Matthews Centennial Classic jersey.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, holy crap, when he told me. And that, because I was gushing about how much I loved those jerseys. And then he's just like, it was because I forgot your birthday. So I got that coming.
So he made up for it.
Yeah, in a big way. So now I have to try and figure out how I one-up him.
Okay.
But yeah, those are easily. I'm trying to collect jerseys from every NHL team. So McDavid and Matthews are my two favorite players.
Huh?
So
nice.
Yeah.
For me, it was the shirts I talked about earlier from my wife, and then for our family Christmas Secret Santa thing, my aunt and uncle got, or was it my aunt? It was my aunt got me 12 cans of Gridlock energy drink, which is my current favorite energy drink.
Nice.
Yeah. And then she's the one that got me the Xbox One wireless adapter for my computer too. So, both great gifts.
Wow,
so.
She got you some good stuff.
Oh yeah. So those are my favorite. Anything else from Jake?
That's it. Oh, he wanted to know what our favorite games to play with our family is.
Board game?
Yeah, the one we played the most was Wits and Wagers. We always played that with family over the holidays.
I played that on New Year's Eve.
That's a good game.
So.
I don't remember it.
You don't remember Wits and Wagers?
Did I play it? I don't
sure
think
you played it before. It's trivia, but you also gamble on who you think has the right answer.
Oh, okay, I remember playing that once.
Yeah, that's a fun game.
I think the board game I almost had fun with was Risk Legacy, playing with you guys.
Oh yeah,
and Eric.
Yeah,
Graham.
Definitely.
That was good stuff. Great game. What about you, Will?
I probably have to agree with Corey. I really liked Wits and Wagers. I also really liked Risk Legacy, as you said. I'm trying to think if there's any other board game that I've played with people within the last 2 years. No, I don't think so. I'd have to say those two. Those are the ones that I've played the most, probably. So.
Okay. All right, that's everything, right?
Well, actually, Tito just sent us in a latecomer to feedback.
Okay. Cool.
It looks pretty lengthy, though. You want to save it for next week? He said that's fine if we want to save it for next week.
Yeah, I know you said you had to go, right, Corey?
Yeah, I do. He did some some picks for thummies and stuff, so I think that'd be more fun to go over with Eric anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we will save that for next week, Tito.
Yep. What I do want to say, what I think we're going to start doing is to encourage more feedback from people, because it's one of my favorite parts of the episode. We're going to start going back to doing game giveaways, and I think the way we're going to do it is for every piece of feedback you submit, you get entered in a drawing for a game giveaway, PC game. It won't be, you're not going to see top tier AAA giveaways, but it'll just be a fun little way to win maybe an indie here and there, or some sort of crappy game that you might end up enjoy playing. Who knows? But we'll talk more about that probably next week.
Yeah. Next week's episode will be our 2017 Games Preview Part 2 with, depending on when the episode airs, maybe the Switch episode will be the week after. So That's our at least next 2 episodes anyway. So yeah, that'll do it for episode 285 of the Thumbstick Athletes podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
Well,
Corey.
Thanks for listening, and get out of my basement. All right.